see you, all of you here. Um, it used to be Sunday morning, 9 o'clock. It used to be in the beginning when we start this, it used to be one of the most stressful time. But now it's one of my favorite time of the week because I get to see all of you. The people who just really, really amazing, the people who love God, people who love each other. So glad to see you again. We are on the last part of our series, The Principle of the Path. And because I got this book 3 years ago as a Christmas present from my wife, The Principle of the Path, the name of the book, and it's by Pastor Andy Stanley. So it blessed me so much, and it changed my life. Now, I'm not saying that it changed my life, that I'm become perfect now, but it changed my life in the way that it made me very, very conscious and very aware every time I make decision, every time I choose a path in my life. So in the very beginning, in the first week, we lay out a foundation for you. Anyone, if you remember, that our direction, not our intention, will determine our destination. Wow, that's great. 2 people remembered. So that's good enough. Our direction, not our intention, will determine our destination. So whatever road you are on, whatever the decision that you make right now, it will take you to a destination. If you don't mind, let's open up the second slide, please. Our direction, not our intention, will determine our destination. And it will lead you to a place. It doesn't matter how religious you are. It doesn't matter how much you pray. It doesn't matter how much you hope and you dream. But if you keep choosing the wrong decision, if you keep choosing the wrong path, you will end up in the wrong place. So we need to stop asking this type of question to God, that God, why would you let this happen to me? How did I end up here? So that type of question we got to stop asking, because we are the one that choose the path. We are the one that make decision. Now, because every direction, every decision that you make will determine your destination. And then on the second week, we memorize the verse. Any one of you remember the second week from Proverbs 27 verse 12? The prudent see danger, great, and take refuge. They do something about it. And the simple keep going and suffer for it. Now, this is mean that the wise will see a danger and they will do something about it. But the simple, the naive, the fool, the Bible said that they will just keep going and suffer for it. And this is mean that along the way, in the journey of your life, everybody say, journey of my life. In your journey of your life, along the way, along the path, if you see warning, if you hear advice, if someone is trying to tell you something, your parents, your teacher, your roommate, your friends, your pastor is trying to give you warning, trying to tell you advice. Hey, I think you should really consider changing your lifestyle, changing your bad habits. I think you really have to consider changing the way you spend your money, the way you eat. You really have to pay attention who's you're dating. You really have to pay attention to your commitment at your workplace, at home, at church. If you hear that type of warning along the way, they said that the wise, the prudent, will actually do something. They will change. But the simple, the naive, they will just like, yeah, I know. But are you going to change? I'll think about it. I'll think about changing, because changing is hard. And finally, they have to pay the price. Finally, they have to pay the consequences. Now, what you don't want to happen is you will get to the point where all your options are bad. You don't want that, right? You want to change while you still have many good options in front of you. And today, in this last part of the series, we will try to answer this question. What do we need? What do we need so that we will choose the right path every single time? What do we need for us to have so that we will make the decision every single time? What do we need? So we're going to try to answer this one question so that you will make the good decision every single time. Now, what do you need? What do you guys think you need? You need information? I think in today's world, right, information is not an issue. I mean, information is available for all of you, right? Information, the lack of information is not an issue why you make the wrong decision. The lack of information is not an issue why you choose the wrong path. I mean, you can always search the percentage of people who smoke, who at the late 40s, 50s, they will have lung cancer, they will have emphysema. And you can always search the percentage of people who have STDs because of their sexual lifestyles. You can always find out the percentage of people who are in debt right now. And you can find out the percentage of men who are addicted to porn. You can find out the number one reason why the family got divorced. You can find out the number one reason why we have conflict at the workplace, at the church, at our home. So all of those information are available for you. You guys know that, right? I mean, nowadays you can just go online and you can find out everything and you can learn from everything. So those information is around you, but are those will guarantee you to make good decision every single time? The answer is no. And we will, and enough information will not guarantee you to choose the right path. Because at some point in our life, we just ignored good advice. At some point in our life, we just ignored the advice from our doctor, from our teacher, from our coach, from our pastor, from our mother-in-law, from our friends. At some point in our life, we will read something, we will hear something, but we choose to just ignore them. So if good information doesn't guarantee you make a good decision, what do you need? If good information is not guaranteeing you to make good decision, what do you need? And the answer, if you really get this answer, you will make your decision, you will choose your path, and it will be right every single time. If you understand this one word, you will make the best decision every single time in your life. I'm talking about 100%, not 99.9%, but 100% you will make good decision, 100% you will choose the right path. And this is the answer here. Submission. Choosing the right path doesn't start with research. Choosing the right path doesn't start with gathering information, because we have all of those information, but we ignore them anyway. Now, choosing the right path start with submission. Everybody say submission. Choosing the right path begin with submission. That's the answer to the question that we asked today. Do we need submission in order for us to make good decision every single time, and choosing the right path every single time we need submission? Submission to who? Submission to the one who know where each path gonna lead. Submission to the one who know what's best for you better than you know what's best for you. Let me repeat that. Submission to the one who know what's best for you better than you know what's best for you. And I'm talking about your submission to God. Now why? Because submission to God will allow you, I should use the word, submission to God will force you to rely on Him. Submission to God will force you to lean to His direction. Submission to God will force you to follow His guidance, to follow His steps. Now, submission to God will force you not to do something based on your experience, based on your instinct, based on your knowledge, based on your wisdom, based on your observation. Submission to God will force you not to do something based on that. So today, we will look at these two verses from the book of Proverbs, and I will tell you what these verses mean, and I will tell you why the author of this book of Proverbs write what he wrote. Proverbs 3, verse 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, acknowledge God, and He will make your path straight. I was wondering if you guys can help me out here. Can we read it together? All right. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. Now, if you can do, just change the word your into my. All right, we're going to do this again. Trust in the Lord with all my heart. Lean not on my own understanding. In all my ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make my path straight. Now, the book of Proverbs is written by King Solomon. And King Solomon is the third king of Israel. How many of you know who was the first king of Israel? King Saul. And who's the second king of Israel? King David, the father of Solomon. King David is the second king of Israel and is the father of King Solomon. Now, you read these verses many times, right? At least you heard these verses many times when someone preached to you. Now, here's probably some of you didn't know. Do you know how old was King Solomon when he became a king? 17. Some scholar predicted he was between 17 to 20 years old. So it's between that. So he was very, very young to become a king. He was too young to become a king. I mean, think about it. 17. Well, let's say that he's 20. Let's say that he's 20. He's still too young to become a king. I mean, 20, guys. 20 and you become a king. You know, when I was 20, I don't remember I did anything good. The stuff that I did when I was 20, I don't think I'm allowed to share it to you at the church. So when I was 20, I couldn't even manage my time. I couldn't manage my life, my money. I mean, how are you gonna manage an entire country when you are only 20? So what happened to Solomon is the same thing that would happen to us if we become the leader of a country at the age of 20. He was afraid. He was nervous. He was overwhelmed by all of these when he took over the kingdom of Israel, when King David handed over the throne to him. So this is the story that you heard many times before. When King Solomon was sleeping one night, God appeared in his dream. And this is what God says to him. Because I love your father, says the Lord. The Lord referring to the King David. Because I love your father, and I love you too, say the Lord to King Solomon. Because I made a promise to your father, now I want to make a promise to you. Are you ready, King Solomon? Now you can ask anything from me, and I will give it to you. I mean, like anything. Just ask anything from me, says the Lord to King Solomon, and I will give it to you. Long life? No problem. You want the life of your enemy? I will deliver the life of your enemy to you. You want wealth? You want money? You got it. No problem. I mean, King Solomon has a blank check in his hand. He can ask anything that he wants, and God will give it to you. God will give it to him. What would you ask at the age of 20? Ask somebody next to you. What would you ask if you can have anything? I mean, I remember a few months ago in our small group, I asked this question to the group. If God asks you that you can have anything that you want, what would you like? I mean, I was shocked by how creative people got. I mean, some of them say that they want to be able to read people's mind. Some of them say that I want to be able to travel in times, go back to the past and go to the future. Some of them said I want to be able to teleport, disappear from one place to another place. See, this is why you should come to Lifegroup every Tuesday at 6:30, okay? The stuff that we talk about, it was just so biblical. So it was just, you guys got to come. And what did King Solomon ask? Wisdom. You know, I would never thought of that in a million years. If God asked me that, I would never thought of that. I would never thought of asking wisdom. Never. But he asked with wisdom. My opinion is, he already have a lot of wisdom before he asked for wisdom. Because who would have thought that you should, you could ask wisdom. And this is what God says. God says that because you don't ask for the life of your enemy, because you don't ask for long life, because you don't ask for money, wealth, but I'm just going to give all of those to you anyway, says the Lord. I will make you, the Bible says, so that there will never be anyone like you, nor will there ever be. I'm going to make you so special. There's not going to be anyone like you in this world. And moreover, I will give you what you have not asked for, both riches and honor, so that in your lifetime you will have no equal among kings. And sure enough, King Solomon became the wealthiest, became the most powerful. And some of the people said that during that time, it was like, it's the golden age of the nation Israel. It was the best time period of the nation of Israel in the history. Now, what's my point of telling you all this story? This is the point that I'm trying to get across to you. My point of telling you this story is because if there is someone in this world, if there is anyone in this world who qualified to say that, hey, I am the smartest, I have wisdom, I can trust myself to make a good decision every single time, I can lean on my own understanding to make a good decision every single time. If there is anyone in this world who qualified to say that, there will be King Solomon. But even King Solomon says that trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. What is he saying? Do not trust your heart, but trust the Lord with all your heart. The word trust there, it's translated as weak or really depending on God. So trust in the Lord with all your heart. King Solomon said that, hey, I'm the wisest, I'm the smartest, I'm the most powerful, but I don't even trust my own heart, says King Solomon. Because this heart is deceitful. And he wrote that in another chapter in the book of Proverbs. And he continued, lean not on your own understanding. Do not lean on your own understanding. He said that I'm the smartest, I'm the wisest, but I don't lean on my own understanding. All of us, we have our own way of thinking. We have our own way of making our decision. We have our own way of thinking to choose the best path. I'm so wise, as King Solomon said, that if you get to the point where your view about something and God's view about something conflicted, then you have to lean toward his view. If God show you a direction and then your heart whispers to you to go to another direction, you don't lean on your understanding, you don't lean on your experience, but you lean toward his direction. In spite of all you know, all you have experienced, don't make a mistake by saying that, hey, I'm old enough, hey, I'm careful enough, hey, I have experience enough, I'm wise enough, now I can make decision based on all of those things that I know. Choosing the best path begin with our submission, not with our emotion or our own understanding. And continue. In all your ways, acknowledge him. Not in some of the way, not in most of the way, but in all your ways. King Solomon didn't leave any room for you to argue in this. In all your way, acknowledge God. In every areas in your life, you need to acknowledge him. In all your ways, your dating ways, your marriage way, your parenting ways, your education ways, your health ways, your entertainment ways. In all your ways, you need to acknowledge him. The word acknowledge here is not like what we use today. The word acknowledge it doesn't mean that a shout out. No. Acknowledge doesn't mean like a shout out. Like when you see someone on TV receiving award, MTV award or Grammy awards, I want to give a shout out to my producer, to my agent. No. Acknowledge him. It's not like a shout out to him, but acknowledge him, meaning that you recognize who is God. You recognize who he is. Who is God? God is the one who has the authority over all of our life. When you acknowledge that, when you recognize who is God, then you respond to Him. How do you respond to Him? By submitting yourself to His will. Say, I have to submit myself to His will. So you recognize God by knowing who He is, and then you respond to it by submitting to His will. And He will make your path straight. God will make your path straight. Let me tell you what this doesn't mean, okay? He will make your path straight. It doesn't mean that, okay, you can choose any path that you want. You can make any decision that you want, and somehow God is just going to work it out. If you choose any path that you want in your life, somehow God is going to straighten everything out. This doesn't mean that. He will make your path straight. Doesn't mean that He will just work everything out. But He will make your path straight. It just means that God will show you what decision to take and which path that you need to make. God will make that path that He wants you to choose become so clear and become so obvious, so it is no-brainer for you to just choose that path. God will make you, if there's like 5 decisions in front of you, and you don't know which one that you need to make, and He will make your path straight, meaning that God will blur the 4 paths, the 4 decisions that you can make, and God will direct you to that one path. He will make your path straight. Last week, when after the evening service, a few people are just hanging out and talking and having conversation, and I overheard the 2 of my friends. They were talking about work, about job, and one of the person said that, hey, I'm ready to quit my job, my current job, because I have 2 job offer now, and the friend asked, why do you want to quit your job? Well, because this current job that I have, it doesn't allow me to serve God more. I don't have any time to serve God. So every time I heard that type of statement, I love it, because wow, we have this type of person in this church when they all about serving God. So the friend asked, so okay, now you have 2 options which one that you need to take. So which one that you're gonna take? And this is what he said. So which one you gonna take? And this is what he said. He's like, you know what? When I think about myself taking that one job, I mean, that one job pays a little bit more. I mean, it's not much more, but a little bit more. But when I'm picturing myself, when I'm imagining myself working in that place, working in that workplace, I don't feel peace. I don't feel right, he says. But when I picture myself working at this one place, I mean, it pays a little bit less in this one place, but I feel right. I feel peace. And I think this is a really good example of He will make your path straight. Because God will just stir your heart. God will just bother you when you try to make a wrong decision. So that when you try to do something that He doesn't want you to do, you will just feel, you don't feel right and you don't feel peace. But when God is trying to direct you to another place, when God is trying to make you choose the path that He wants you to choose, God will just give you that peaceful feeling, that feeling that you just feel right about something. So this is what it means by He will make your path straight. Now, the question is, why in the world the wisest man that ever lived, the smartest one, the wealthiest, the most powerful man that ever lived, says that I don't even trust my heart. I don't even trust my own understanding. Why in the world he say that? He said that I don't trust my own heart. I should have trusted God, but I trusted my own heart. And I will tell you the type of mistake that he made in a little bit. Don't trust your understanding. He warned all of us. He warned you. He warned me. Do not trust your own understanding, because I, King Solomon, I'm the wisest. I'm the smartest. I should have not lean on my own understanding, but I did, and I made a mistake by doing that. In every single areas in your life, I should have acknowledged God. In all of my ways, I should have recognized God and submit to Him. But I didn't. This is why I make a big mistake. And King Solomon is trying to warn all of us. Despite of all of your experience, in spite of all the things that you have seen, what you have learned, your instinct, that do not trust your own heart and your own understanding. King Solomon said, I should have acknowledged God in every single things that I do, but I didn't. I make a big mistake. So which part of his decision that it was such a big mistake? Where did King Solomon went wrong? Which part? And you need to know this before I tell you the mistake that he made. That in the beginning, when God established the nation of Israel, God make rules, okay? Now, God can make any rules that He wants because He's God, right? And one of the rule is the people of Israel, the Jews, were not allowed to marry someone from another country, from another kingdom, from another region. They're not allowed to marry foreign women. That's for everybody. That's the rule for everybody, no exception, including the king. Now, what's the reason why people get married with another people from another region, especially the kings? Usually the kings marry someone from another kingdom, another country, another region. It's because they want to establish a good relationship, so that they will not go to war against each other, so they will establish a peaceful relationship. So in this part of his area, in this part of his life, King Solomon said that since I'm wise, since I have experience, I'm going to trust my heart and my instinct and my understanding in this particular part in my life. So King Solomon married the daughter of Pharaoh. King Pharaoh is from Egypt. So King Solomon married the daughter of Pharaoh. I mean, common sense. It was a great move. Politically, it was an awesome move for you to marry someone from Egypt, because Egypt was also one of the most powerful nations at that time. So it's common sense. It's good because you made peace with one of the most powerful nation. Now you don't have to worry about going to war against each other. But his understanding, his instinct, his experience, and his wisdom at that time conflicted with God's command and God's will. And surely, I mean, the Bible said he married many more foreign women. The Bible recorded that he had 700 wives and princesses. You know, the Bible recorded that he has 700 wives and princesses, and he has 300 concubines. I mean, I know most of you here are not married yet, but do you guys know what 700 wives mean? Trouble. Do you know what 700 wives mean? It means that 700 mother-in-laws. Can you handle that? I mean, I'm just going to stop right here. It's recorded. I don't want to get in trouble, you know. And God has His reason, okay? God has His reason why He didn't want the people to marry women from another country. And the Bible said that that's exactly what happened, because the wives of King Solomon turned his heart away from God. The Bible said that his wife, the wives of King Solomon, turned his heart away from God. And King Solomon started to worship many idols and many other gods. He breaks the very first commandment. You shall have no other gods before me. His instinct is wrong this time. His experience is wrong this time. his wisdom is wrong this time. In spite of his great knowledge, in spite of his unmatched wisdom, he's been there, he's done that. He's wrong this time. King Solomon decided he wanted to trust his heart. King Solomon decided that he wanted to lean on his own understanding. And what's the result? He has to pay the price. The entire nation of Israel has to pay the price. He has to pay the price. His relationship with God is broken now. The nation of Israel is split up. So choosing the right path, making the right decision, start with submission. Start with your submission. Start with my submission to God. And younger people here, I'm so glad that you are here today. I'm so glad that you are here. I mean, I wish that I heard this before when I was younger. You know, oh my, like you guys are just, I feel like you guys are so lucky because now that you know that every single decision that you make, every single path that you take, it will take you to a destination. Now you have heard this, now that you become very aware and become very conscious of every single decision that you're going to make and every single path that you're going to choose. It starts with your submission. Not because you have seen other people do it, not because you have experienced it before, not because that your instinct telling you to do so, not because with all these things that you have read in the books. But if you want to make a good decision every single time, and you want to choose the right path every single time, I mean 100%, not 99%. If you want to do that, you got to first submit to God. It begins with submission to God. It starts with your submission to God. And let's all stand up. I'm going to pray and we're going to close this service.